Today we're going to be taking a look at the Yakima Hang Tight on my 2001 Chevrolet Tahoe. If you're looking to get 6 bikes to and from your destination, the vertical style bike rack like the Hang Tight is going to be a really cool way to do so. It's going to turn some heads, and one thing I love about it is it looks pretty sick. So whether you're just bringing the whole entire family and you want to have a bike for all of them, whether you're bringing a couple buddies and you want to bring 2 bikes for each of them, or also if you just own a business, it's super quick to load up and there's plenty of spacing between there. So for the business owners out there, especially when your clients bring their own bikes, you don't really have to worry about there being not enough room for them. It's quick, it's easy, and it just gets you up and down the hill or the trail a lot quicker. When we were loading up the Hang Tight, we didn't have any issues when it comes to clearance. So that's what the spacing really helps out at. We have no pedals hitting pedals, no handlebars hitting handlebars. But then notice the wide array of different bikes that we have. We have a fat tire bike, we have a road bike, we have a mountain bike, we have a full suspension bike, but then we also have the kiddo's bike as well. And then for your carbon fiber frame bikes, we're not having any frame contact. So whatever kind of bikes you have, you don't really have to worry about it. And you don't really have to strategize which one you're putting where. Let's just say for some reason I want to grab this green bike. The vertical style bikes like this compared to just the standard hanging style bikes, you pretty much have to take all of them off for you to be able to grab the bike closest to the vehicle. This one you don't really have to. It's not always the case with a platform style bike rack, but it's just kind of a pain, and some of it's almost impossible to do. With this one, we can just go ahead, unstrap everything. And once that's done, we can kind of come in here, lift it up, bring it out, and we're good to go. It is not really something that most bike racks offer, and with this it just allows you to do so. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to test the ground clearance of it. I'm going to let you know what I love about the rack, but also the things that I don't like about the rack, and then we'll also get into some nitty-gritty details. First thing I love about the Hang Tight is the ground clearance. If I can take my bikes where 4-wheel drive is needed, I think that's awesome. So I'm headed your way, and this is going to be interesting. I'm pretty sure the ground clearance should be good enough. I can see my bike still moving freely, so I don't think I'm hitting the back tires. Here is the last test. If I can make it up this thing can go literally anywhere you want it to. Come on. Ooh. Oh yeah. Look at that. Our bottom wheel cradle here, there's a couple things I like about it. One, we have plenty of strap. So even with the small bikes, we have a lot of excess, but with the fat tire bikes, we are going to have enough to be able to wrap around. They also give you a little spot on the other side to put the excess strap. So there's a lot of versatility there with the long strap, so I really appreciate that. I also like how it accommodates for those 5-inch wide fat tire bikes as well. Another thing I like about the bottom wheel cradle is it can slide along this whole entire pole. So let's just say we're on a trip and the kids are getting a little restless. They need to get rid of some of that energy. So we only need to grab the little bike. This way we can kind of slide the bikes that are around the bike we need away from each other, and that's going to help be able to unhook it and grab it. So that's something that doesn't take a whole lot of time, just to make it a little bit easier to grab a specific bike. And there's no tool needed. All you have to do is just tighten it up or loosen it up. And there's some grips, and the knob is big enough to where you don't really need a whole lot of forearm strength to tighten it up or loosen it. I do like the top cradle as well for your handlebars. So notice the kiddos bike that we have here. It's a very, very different style handlebar, but it's also a lot smaller. So it's gonna accommodate for both sizes, but it does have padding on it. So for your carbon fiber frame bars like the one right here, you don't have to worry about it getting damaged. Not only do we have a sleeve around the bottom, but also around the whole entire strap. So everything that's touching the handlebars is going to be coated with rubber, so you don't have to worry about it getting damaged. Before I take all these bikes off, I just can't get over the fact of how cool this looks. That's just my opinion. Just because it's 6 bikes on one vehicle and they're all like kind of facing back, you just don't really see this a whole lot, which I think that's another reason why the vertical style racks are so popular. Y'all noticed in the time lapse that we took when I was unloading the bikes, I undid all the straps from back here. There's plenty of room to work with back here, so I don't really have to reach over the bikes to undo all the straps. You get that a lot with some of the platform style racks. You have to keep reaching further and further over that rack to get to the next bike closer to your vehicle. With this, everything was accessible from back here, which was really nice. One thing I really like about it as well is the big foot lever. Doesn't take a whole lot of pressure, but then it is gonna tilt away. So a lot of the times, I have a lot of my gear back here, and with this, doesn't matter how big your hatch is, it will allow hatch access, which is a box I need to check for a bike rack when I'm looking, but that's just me. From the center of the hitch pin hole on your hitch, on your vehicle, to the closest part of the rack, which is right here, it's about 8 3/4 of an inch, but to right here is 13 inches. So there's plenty of room. Even if you did want to check on your vehicle with those measurements, it's still going to work pretty well. And without any bikes mounted up on the rack, from the center of the hitch pin hole to this point right here, which is the furthest point, is 20 inches. So that's not a whole lot. This rack will never be the one that is bottoming out. It's always just going to be the lowest tire. So that's nice. You can keep this on here and you know it's not going to affect your ground clearance. What you want to do is measure from the inside top lip of your hitch receiver, and from that point all the way up, 65 inches is how tall this is going to sit when it's completely expanded out. For me, it's still lower than my roof rack on my vehicle, but if you want to make sure it's going to fit in your garage, 65 inches is the measurement. And if that is a little too tall for your garage, all you need is a 13mm socket or wrench to take this bolt out. So let me take this out real quick so I can show you. This is not going to be something you want to use like with your bikes. This is just for storage or just to get the clearance that you need for it to get inside your garage. So all you need is a little tool. We're going to take this nylon lock nut off with the washer, and this whole entire bolt does come out. You're going to have to lift up on the inner tube a little bit, and look, it just goes straight down, and our hole right here, we just have to line that up and then tighten up our hardware. So if you plan on just keeping this in your hitch because it looks cool, I would. This is going to help be able to see out your back hatch whenever you just have no bikes installed. Whenever we lower it down, it's going to travel downward 20 inches. So now that same exact measurement from the inside top lip of your hitch receiver to the very top, it's going to be 45 inches. But if you are not one that keeps the bike rack on your vehicle, or for the winter months, this is what it's going to look like in your garage. A lot of these other bike racks don't sit upright, and it's kind of annoying. So you kind of have to prop them up against the wall and try not to touch them at all. But with this one, it's pretty much a standalone by itself. It's not going to move or anything, so it's going to be a little bit easier to store in your garage. This does seem like a pretty big bike rack. It pretty much is, but when it's in its condensed form, I would say it's no bigger than any of your platform style 2 bike racks. So you get a big rack, but you can condense it down to make it a little bit smaller, which is just gonna make it so much easier to live with. We do get a anti-routable with the kit, and all you need to do is just line it up and it'll thread in nice and easy. And all you have to do to tighten it down is get a 15/16 socket. So I suggest keeping it in your vehicle if you do plan on taking it off and on quite often. And all you got to do is tighten it up to get rid of all that wobble. So you can see how it's moving in there. But as we start to tighten this thing up, it's just completely solid. So your bikes aren't going to feel it and you're not going to hear it going down the road. It's nice that they added that in. And one thing with other bike racks is they sometimes make you purchase the locks separately. This one comes with it, and all it does is just plops on the edge right there, and we can lock our key, which we get 2 keys with our kit. And now we don't have to worry about anybody stealing our super cool rack. Those are some of the things that I like about this rack. There is a lot of them, but no rack is perfect. So one thing about this is if you have a lot of stuff going around on your handlebars, like maybe a phone mount or a little reflector here, we did have to move it a little bit. But also, depending on how heavy your bikes are and how tall your vehicle is, you're gonna need a decent amount of upper body strength to really get it up there. But at the end of the day, that's kind of just what you get. I'm okay with dealing with that just for the benefits of the vertical style rack. Ground clearance is all I'm really wanting to do. So you're gonna have to clear out your bars a little bit, and you're gonna have to get a little bit of a workout in to get your bikes up. Another thing, this isn't gonna be for your e-bikes. The limit is 37.5 pounds per bike, which actually is pretty decent, especially since we can put 6 bikes on here. Another thing I don't necessarily love about this rack is we can't tilt it with the bikes loaded, but if you have a Toyota 4Runner where the back glass goes down, you can still grab stuff through there. But even here, with all that room that we have, I can still get whatever I need out of my back hatch. I can even load up groceries and stuff with all of these bikes loaded. So that's just something you get with a vertical hanging rack. If you really want that tilting feature, you're not gonna be able to get the 6 bike vertical style rack. You're gonna have to go with the platform style. So I think all of the things I don't like about this rack is offset by all the things I do like about it. That is the gist of it. The Yakima Hang Tight is gonna be able to work with a wide array of bikes. Notice how they're all in different configurations now. You don't have to worry about which bike goes where, or you don't have to worry about not being able to get one off with all the other ones on there. There's a lot of pros and cons with a lot of different bike racks, but I really like the Yakima Hang Tight, and I really think you will too. And that'll do it for a look at the Yakima Hang Tight on my 2001 Chevrolet Tahoe.